I didn't start drinking until I met Shle.
That's probably
She made me do it.
I'm a very bad influence, so it is what it is.
Hey, Regal.
Just like that, another year has gone by, and obviously 2020 and 2021 kind of blend into each other for everyone. I think most of us do some reflecting once the new year hits. There's something about that, like, turning of the page that kind of makes you look back and be like, what the hell? And what's crazy is that I was feeling the exact opposite at the end of 2019. You know, I was starting to get some momentum going, and I was just really trying to outdo myself. For the first time, I was just trying to compete with, older versions of myself. That was honestly really empowering. And that comparison shit that we do on social media has never done any good for anybody, because you don't know what they're dealing with. So when we, watch people succeed or fail, we try to size them up because of our own insecurities. And I had a lot of, big plans for 2020, and thankfully Lakefront got a rain check for 2021 and still asked me to perform. Very grateful for that, and the relationship that I've built with Lakefront Brewery. I really appreciate those guys, and this was just another example of our relationship, doing cool things together. So I just wanted to shout them out because they could have asked a lot of people, and they asked me, so I just really appreciate them. It was my first time performing at State Fair, and honestly, this show in particular just really made me realize how much I had grown, and I wasn't giving myself enough credit. These past 2 years have been growing pains like you wouldn't believe. And when I was up there performing songs that I had written, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I was like, wow, I've really come a long way. It made me realize that I'm ready for some growth, not only musically, but I want my shows to grow. I want the image to grow. I want my impact to grow. This was all coming to fruition when I was performing at this State Fair show. Me, YB, and Keez literally have a project waiting that we were going to drop early 2020. We had a lot of really cool things prepared for the drop, and it was supposed to continue the momentum that we all had in 2019. Obviously, everything came to a halt. My tendency to evade my past stopped, and it put me in a place of stillness that I was very uncomfortable being in. Slowing down, really made me confront some demons and some dark pieces of my past that I've been running from. My busy schedule that had developed through working a full-time job at the mall and literally spending every waking moment investing in my career, going to interviews, meeting up with people, taking photos, being a model, networking, meeting with other people in the community, trying to build community, shows, marketing, promotion. It was fucking insane how busy I was in 2019. I think a part of me was using it as a way to not have to slow down and to not have to confront those things. So when COVID hit and all of my music stuff literally came to a stop, we all had to start working from home. And suddenly I went from going 110 miles an hour on cruise control to just stopped on the side of the road. I no longer had those easy distractions to keep those demons at bay. So I was feeling really lost, ironically, on a path that I feel is already well beaten. I think that's confusing for people to be like, how do you feel lost on a path that's like easy to navigate? And that's the problem, because I'm walking down a path that I don't think is for me. But I've just been complying because of my self-worth issues, my insecurities, wanting to be liked, wanting to fit in, going places that you necessarily don't want to go, even though it appears easier. I feel like I'm really growing and reinventing myself to stay relevant to the metaphor, it's kind of like I've decided to trailblaze my own path and not walk down one that's already worn in and easy to find and easy to walk through. I think I took a right turn or a left turn because I ain't right. Now I'm like walking in the woods with no path. It's actually terrifying. I am more unsure and scared than I think I've ever been, navigating this world that can swallow you whole. But every time I try to fit on a path that I can see, it just never feels like it's my path to be on. And it's made me so uncomfortable in my own skin, and it's made me overcompensate in weird ways. I've just been scared to walk alone. But now that I've entered my 30s and I'm still feeling like unsettled, I think confronting myself head on seems like the only viable option to ensure a place outside of my comfort zone, which is why I moved to Arizona and quit my extremely comfy and beneficial job. Am I crazy? Yeah, definitely. You know, I just want to see what I'm made of. I want to see how far I'm willing to go for this. I want to see how far I can take it, thinking like, why not me? And I get a glimpse of her every now and then. She comes out sometimes. I'm just trying to be her more often. The person I want to be is in there. It's just like, you gotta cut ties with the parts of you that counteract that version of you, which is really challenging, especially when you're dealing with years of habits and it's just time to shed an older version of myself. I think that looks glorious sometimes. You know, it's kind of like when you see a butterfly and you're like, wow, but not realizing probably how uncomfortable it was and annoying and painful it was to be in the cocoon and then having to break out of it. I'm sure that was very uncomfortable. I think metamorphosis is painful. Growing pains do not sit well in your bones. Change is like pulling teeth. But caterpillar does not complain once she's a butterfly. She's not ashamed or bitter about the work she had to put in. She's not mad about it at all. She's bolder, brighter, and re-equipped with fresh-ass, beautiful-looking wings. Who knew the timing of reinvention would come so perfectly for me? It's like, damn you, 22. You always have to reinforce my obsession with you. Cheers.